Hi everybody at Kairos. I'm making some roti today, so I decided to do a video for you. Hopefully this works out okay and you can see me and hear me. Ingredients that you need for roti is flour, salt, which is optional, oil or butter, water, and obviously you need a tawa. I don't know what you call this, frying pan, flat pan, or you need a non-stick frying pan. So I've already served the flour. It's 2 cups of flour that I served. And today instead of using oil, I'm using butter ghee. Gives the roti more richness. So I've sifted 2 cups of flour. The measurements according to the recipe says 50 ml of oil. The best thing to do is, if you're using something like butter, is to try to get it to melt, and then you need boiling hot water. Generally I add the hot water to the oil. I don't use salt in my roti, but it is optional. Just make a small hole in the flour, and you need a fork as well too. So you've got to pour this liquid into the flour and use the fork to incorporate it through. Obviously the water is boiling water, so you're not going to be using your fingers until it's at a temperature that's easy for you to handle. And you just mix it through. Okay, once you've mixed it through, if it's still too hot, then you can just cover it with a dish towel and leave it to sit for a couple minutes. But this is where the kneading process comes in. I'm not sure if you can see the dough, the consistency of it. You've really got to work in to mix the oil and water into the flour. And I'd say you knead until the mixture is soft, still warm, nice elasticity to it. If you follow the recipe, your consistency should come out correctly. If it's too runny, then add a little bit more flour, or if it's too dry, just add a bit more water. So generally I give it a good knead and I leave it to rest a few minutes. What you need now is to flour the countertop. You're just going to knead that dough even more. Fold it and kneading, as you can see, is slightly different from the bread making, where the bread was pull, stretch, or knead, stretch. This you've really got to work. Adding flour allows it, makes it easier to work with. It doesn't stick to the counter. Then what you can do is just roll out your dough, and you can divide it into 2 pieces. Just roll it out onto a log, and then you can cut it to your desired size. Roll the individual balls and flatten them. Dust a bit of flour into your mixing bowl and place each ball, or flattened ball. Okay, and this is where a bit of technique comes in. I have a bowl of extra flour, so you need flour when rolling the roti out. You just dip it and use your fingers and thumbs and the base of your hand and your fingers, just rotating the piece of dough in between to give you a flattish circle piece of dough. And this is where rolling pin comes in, because now the technique is needed for rolling round roti, which I have yet to do. Just use your rolling pin, rolling it out, making it thinner, larger, hopefully rounder. You can add more flour as you're rolling. Try not to put too pressure, just try to, relax the dough into the shape, and you should come out with something, don't know if you can see, it's quite thin, flimsy. Okay, and that's your first roti ready to be toasted. Now I'm gonna roll a few more, so hopefully you guys can watch the technique. So I've just rolled out 3 rotis so we can actually focus on the toasting. Okay, now's the bit of a difficult part, because I'm not sure how to hold my phone for everyone to see. So I've heated my tawa. I'm not sure if you can actually see the heat rising off it. It's at a low heat, it's nice, quite average heat, not too hot, not too cold. Depending on how much of oil you've used, you could add more oil or butter during this toasting process, but I put a little bit of extra oil in mine, so I don't need to add more oil. So you toast the first side, as I'm doing here. The roti is starting to rise, it's got little bubbles. Just give it a bit of a spin around. Obviously, for those of you who are not used to doing this by hand, please use a spatula. Still toasting the second side. This literally takes a minute or two. And there we go, first roti is done. Okay, I've just put baking paper on a plate to store the roti on, and we can move on to the next one. I'm not sure how clear the camera is, but it's starting to cook the roti here. You see the small bubbles forming. Okay, and first turn. Okay, and then we're going to get ready for the second turn. You can see that's cooked all the way through. We've got a nice lovely brown. I hope you can see this. It's quite ballooning here. And voila, there we go. Well, I hope my explanation made sense. And I look forward to some of you trying it out and getting your opinions on it. But for me, it's back to rolling and back to toasting rotis.